Hi, lovely people. Okay, I'm back in this video. I'm going to keep it short, but the topic of the video is do not overspend this holiday season. And I thought about this topic because I've been budgeting and also shopping for the holiday, and I thought it would be a nice discussion and a nice gentle reminder for folks that are doing a little spending, whether you're shopping, for to celebrate a religious holiday or whatnot, or just for, the spirit of giving. It's a really big time, especially for Americans. If you're watching and you're also an American, we overspend. So there are a couple of stats I wanted to know. So the first one is that 11.5% of Americans are not going to be buying any gifts this holiday season, according to a survey done by Deloitte, and this is referenced by CNBC. So that's very interesting. There's kind of this gap between folks that will be spending more than they did last year, and then folks that are spending less or will not be shopping for the holiday. The other stat I want to point out is that higher income households in the US plan to spend 5 times that of lower income households this holiday season. This is also by a study from Deloitte. So a lot of spending is happening. And with these stats, the reason I wanted to highlight these in particular is that there's kind of this divide from the lower income folks and the higher income folks. But then what about the people in the middle? I haven't really seen a lot of studies of folks that are middle income and how they will be spending this year. So, but they have said 11.5% of Americans are not buying or saying that they're not going to be buying any gifts this holiday season. Now, I will say it's a survey done by Deloitte. If these are just folks saying this, who knows what may happen. A lot of folks say, we're not doing Christmas, I'm not buying gifts, and then they end up spending at the last minute, which I'm going to talk to in a bit. And then higher income households are, again, planning to spend 5 times that of lower income households. Now, we do know some of this is probably because of inflation, accounting for that. But then also, we know because of inflation, those with higher incomes have seen more wealth because of that. So, the other part that I want to go over is another study. Now, this was from valuepenguin.com. It's like a news article they put out. They were saying that 70% of Americans go over their budget on holiday spending. 70%. So I saw that number. I was like, man, oh, that's rough. And then almost half of Americans at 48% expect to spend more on holiday shopping this year than last year. And this is from 2021. So they expect to spend more than they did. Almost half of us Americans expect to spend more this year than we did last year. Now, of course, we weren't really spending money last year unless it was at Amazon. So that may be a part of that. So I want to go through 8 tips here where these are just things that I've thought of and also things I've heard from other financial advisors, and I just combined them all together, and we're going to have a little chit chat here. Hello, King of Kill. Welcome, my members. Hello, Teddy. Shout out to my member, King of Kill. And then shout out Edward, my moderator, and my member. So welcome in. Chris's Clever Craft. Ooh, say that really fast. Chris's Clever Craft. Welcome. It's way more than 80%. That's just people who will tell what they spent. I believe you, Chris. I 100% believe you. It probably is more than 70%. Again, America is definitely an overspending type of culture. I think much more of the world is becoming more of a consumer culture, unfortunately. Okay, so let me get into the tips here. So the first one I'm going to put in here is setting a budget. And everyone talks about this. I'm also going to put in here the articles that I was just referencing so that you can see for yourself. You don't have to take my word for this stuff. You can read it for yourself too. But setting a budget is very important when it comes to breaking down those specific things that you're wanting to buy for people, and not just setting an overall budget, because I think this is where I have actually gone wrong in the past. So where I've gone wrong in the past is I'll set a budget and say, I only want to spend X amount for everyone. However, what I haven't done is I haven't actually lined out who am I going to buy gifts for and how much am I spending per person? And so at the end of the day, I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, this person's gift was going to actually cost me this much and et cetera. So I would go over my budget. So that's what we don't want to do. We want to set a very specific budget per person that we're going to be shopping for. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to put this into the chat too, just so we have it for reference. I will throw this up there. And thank you, Edward, for welcoming in Chris. So this is the first one, just setting a budget. And I set this one first, mainly because this is probably the hardest thing that folks have to deal with. It's just getting started with setting a budget and hopefully keeping that budget that you're setting. Now, this is the second thing, and this is more of a lesson learned from my own experience. So I'm going to put this up here too. Monday, talk money. Money talk Mondays. Oh my gosh. Okay, so set a number limit of the people that you are actually going to give to. And I think this is very important because once you start listing out so many people, so your family members, right? Your friends, your just acquaintances, your general acquaintances, your coworkers, your et cetera, your business partners, whatever it may be, you need to set a limit on people. You have to say, okay, my 5 closest friends, right? Because my view is that you're going to end up either going over your budget, or some folks are going to get some not so nice gifts. So you may not give them as nice quality gifts. And I do believe that you should give from your heart, but also give something of quality. So limit the number of people that you are actually going to spend money on. So it doesn't need to be just Joe Schmo that you just met that one time. Keep it to, I'm going to splurge on my family and I'm going to splurge on 3 of my closest friends. Keep it like that, because honestly, once you start going beyond that, I've gifted to people that I'm probably never going to see again. It's like, you do these things and it's like, oh, I'm probably never going to see you again, but Merry Christmas or whatever. So, so just limit that number of people. All right. So this kind of goes along with that and along with the note I had about setting a budget. But I'm going to put this in here too. I'm just throwing stuff in the chat so I can see it and you can also see it. So setting a limit to how much you spend on each person, lining it up with your budget. And then the other thing that I thought about actually was, those events that you go to where it's like, Secret Santa or this and that. So my idea is to limit how many events you're going to, because those little events can rack up. Even if you're saying, oh, it's only going to be $10, don't spend over $10. Well, if you're going to 5 of these parties, you just spent $50 on some silly little gifts. So those are some little things that can eat away at your budget too. So going to these different events where you're doing these gift exchanges. I've even been to a gift exchange. I did it with my family, but I think the limit we put on it was like $25. It was like a rob your neighbor thing. But again, if you're doing a bunch of events where it's rob your neighbor and the limit is $25, a lot of times you go at the limit. You're like $20 or $25. So you can easily spend, if you, again, go to 5 events, you're spending $100 on some silly little gifts that you're going to play a game with. So that was the other thought that came to mind. Let me know what you think about that. Oh, hello. I didn't see the comments in here. Hello, Finley River Kennels. I have to say that really slowly because I feel like I'm butchering people's names. Thank you for dropping a like. Hello, A Better Tomorrow. You're preparing for higher interest rates and inflation. Save and invest. And I do feel like, again, to my point earlier, why we're seeing these statistics of 11.5% of Americans that say they aren't buying any gifts this holiday season, again, by Deloitte. But at the same time, we're seeing higher income households in the US say they're planning to spend 5 times that of the lower income individuals. Is part of that I do see as inflation, because of course, those that have invested and they have wealth, they have homes, they have seen, because of inflation, their wealth increase. So what happens when you feel wealthy? Well, when you feel wealthier, you're going to spend more. Typically, if you're a typical American, you're going to spend a bit more. You're going to be a lot more giving. You're going to donate more. You're going to do more. So, but at the same time, those at lower incomes, well, they're going to feel the crunch of inflation because they're just paying higher prices. They're not feeling like, I've gotten this wealth from my assets, from my stock, from my crypto, from my home that I bought, from my rental, any of these things. They may not have as much of it or none at all, because when you're on limited income, I mean, let's be honest, it's really tough to invest. Financial experts can say all day long, you need to save, you need to invest, but if you're not paid at a certain amount at a livable wage, and actually above the livable wage, how are you ever going to really get to that point where you're saving and you're investing so much? It can be done, but you definitely have to be very savvy about things, and you ultimately have to increase your income. That's why I talk on this channel about investing and boosting incomes. It's a great time to do it. All right, Finley River is saying hello to Edward. You guys are hanging out in the chat. I appreciate you guys. I'm just trying to see if I missed any comments before I go on to my next comment. Miss Foot Roller is in here. Hello. Hey. This is another person to follow if you're interested in money chats. Okay, so this is a big one. Discuss with your family that you are budgeting. And it can be friends, family, whoever is in kind of your close circle. Tell people that, hey, I'm on a budget. Just tell them. Like, it doesn't have to feel weird. It doesn't have to feel like you're being frugal, but just, hey, I'm on a budget. I'm buying gifts for this person, or I'm only buying one gift this year, or I'm only buying 2 gifts this year. I think it can be really interesting to have the discussion with your family, especially if you have children, because that can drive some finance discussions with your children as well, to say like, hey, we're going to talk about money. We're going to set these boundaries. So don't expect this year 15 presents, because it's not going to happen, right? And then alongside, your sister, your brother, your cousin, whoever you're gifting to normally, well, if last year you bought them 5 gifts, and this year your budget that you've set is telling you, well, you're going to spend so much on this person, this person, you got to kind of set those expectations. So that way no one's surprised, If anything, they're surprised that they're getting a gift at all, right? That's how I like to do it. I don't want to set up expectations crazy. But yeah, just set those expectations and let them know. Let's see. Miss Roller's chatting. And Miss Roller, if you have any other ideas, please let me know. Or let everyone else know. So this is a big one too. And again, this is another one that comes from my personal experience with shopping and spending over budget. But being honest with yourself, right? So being able to really sit down and set a realistic budget. Like, you should know your expenses, you should know your income, and you should know what you have saved and what you can save for your holiday shopping, right? So don't feel pressured to go beyond what you can do. Just be very honest with yourself and make sure that you're doing something that you're going to be comfortable with. Because here's the big thing that happens around this time. The end of the year, property taxes, they're due at the end of the year. In January, we're going to start preparing for income taxes, federal and state income. So you don't want to be in a place where even though you set up a budget that you can technically do, you're feeling very uncomfortable. So just going to put that out there. All right. So this one goes into another point, and I'm getting close to the last of my points here, but this is just something I personally feel. I don't feel like even though you have a budget, you have to be cheap. I say don't go cheap. And this is why I say set a limit to the people that you're going to spend on. You're gonna spend on these people. They're gonna get really nice quality gifts, and that's the end of it, right? So instead of buying like 50 low quality items just to say like, oh, you checked the list and you bought some stuff for everyone that you wanted to buy something for, so that, you know, my cousin, my nephew, my friend down the street, my my such and such neighbor that lives 3 houses, like all these people, right? Find those folks that are really special to you that you really would like to buy a gift for, something really nice and of quality, and you can splurge on them. This is a great time to splurge, but just do so within your budget and set your boundaries. I see a comment in here. Yep, property taxes doubled last year. Yeah, things are crazy. Things are just crazy, and this is why I wanted to talk about this in particular, because we're seeing the prices of things increasing and we don't know what's to come. So I really don't want folks to be in a spot where they're feeling the pressure to spend, because last year, you know, things were just, we really weren't spending, we weren't seeing people, we weren't traveling as much. A lot of us weren't, at least some were. And, you know, I don't want people to feel pressured to do something that may hurt them in the long run. So you don't want to do something to yourself because of, you know, one day, this one day that people are celebrating or gifting, or this one week that people are celebrating and gifting items, which is going to hurt you next year. So that's the importance of this conversation. uh, I thought you would, Miss Roller. Miss Roller says, I 100% agree with this topic. I will share to be prepared for some folks to not be happy that you want to rein in your holiday spending. Exactly. So I'm not saying, I am not like a, I've talked about Dave Ramsey before. I think he's great, but I'm not like a hardcore, oh my gosh, you need to just not buy anything, rice and beans, eat nothing but ramen, and, you know, bunker down. No, I'm really not that way. I think everything in balance, right? And you have to set your boundaries, you have to keep a budget and stick with it. You have to stick with it. But you can definitely splurge. Just be responsible with your splurging and consider the future. So this is the next one. This is important because I told you to list out, you know, a couple folks that you really want to splurge on, that you want to give to. Well, there are some folks that don't need to get a gift, right? You don't really need to spend $500 on this person. They're Julio down the street. Like you know, you saw him twice. I don't know. I don't know why I'm saying Julio. But I don't even know Julio, but Julio down the street. They're going to get a card, right? So utilize, you know, holiday cards. That can be a great way to, um, you know, reach out to folks that you haven't talked to in a while, or that are more of acquaintances that you're not really wanting to buy a gift for. You're not really wanting to splurge on them this holiday season, but you want to show them that you care. You want to show them that you're thinking of them. You want them to know, you know, that they're thought of, that you care about them, and that you want to show some type of symbol of that. So utilize cards. Cards are pretty cheap. I keep cards on deck. I keep thank you cards like on deck with me, and I also keep general holiday cards. So not religious, like not religion specific, just happy holidays type of cards, so that I can reach out to people at this time of year. No matter who they are, because there are a lot of people that are important in your life that you would love to reach out to, but that doesn't mean that you have to spend $500 on every person that you know. So just keep that in mind. you can you can definitely utilize cards instead of gifts. Let's see. King of Kill is saying, aka Teddy, is saying, man, Christmas is for children. Everyone else can kick rocks. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I did your comment justice, Teddy. You know what? I don't see it that way actually, especially since I don't have children. So I see it as definitely a time for children, but I see it more as a time for family, a time to connect with people. It is the end of the year. It's like when you're inside, you want to be around folks still. And yeah, I think it's a great time to give back to others, whether that is donating to different causes, giving to, just being more generous with other people, whether that's waitresses or people that are, you know, running errands, door dashing, whatever, right? So being extra generous to people. And also gift giving. I think it's a nice time to be like, hey, I appreciate you, or you're close to me. I want to show you how, how important you are to me. However, I probably feel that way because one of my love languages, like my number one love language, I think is my number one. It's either, so my two love languages are actions or doing, and then gift giving. So I like to receive gifts that are special. Like I want to receive like a thoughtful gift, right? And then I like to give gifts that are ideally thoughtful or, quality or whatever. So um, that's probably where that comes from. But yeah, I think it goes beyond the children. But I get what you're saying. I definitely do get what you're saying, Teddy. Miss Burrower says if someone gets mad at you, that lets you know if you really want those folks in your life. That same folks will not offer you any help when you get into financial trouble. Exactly. And that's why, look, this message, limit the amount of people. So know who you're giving a gift to and who you're not giving a gift to. And that does not mean that they have to just get nothing and that they're not important. Utilize a card. Give them a card, write some nice words to them. I've always thought that cards were really special. When someone has written something or even drawn something, I always see that it's very special because it means that you took time out of your day to think about some nice words to say and put in a card. That's not my love language, unfortunately. Like words of, I don't know what it's actually called, but words aren't really my love language. But I do think that's really, you're spending time and you're putting forth effort versus just buying. It's really easy to buy things sometimes unless it's a thoughtful gift. So they can be very special. So my last point, number 8, is this one. Oh my gosh, I love this comment, A Better Tomorrow. Chocolate boxes are always liked at Christmas. Oh my gosh, I love that idea because yeah, you can get chocolates for like what, $5? $5 to $10, I think, and that can be a nice special. Hey, most people like chocolates. My brother, I know for one, he loves truffles. I actually have truffle. I'm literally looking at a box of truffles right now because he likes them, and so I scooped them up sometime last week, and yeah, so he'll get that as a part of his gift. But yeah, so this next one is buy in advance. And I say buy in advance for this reason. I don't want people to start panic buying. You know how it is. Like it's, oh my gosh, it's the day before Christmas and I still have to get a present for this person that I really want to get a present for. Well, what do you think happens? Either, especially with this year, supplies have been lower than in past years, right? For a number of reasons. And prices go up when there's less supply, more demand, like the day before Christmas, the price is probably going to be a little higher. So that kind of puts you off of your budget because instead of just saying, okay, I'm sticking with this budget, I have these options, I'm going to kind of compare and contrast and be kind of thrifty here and find the right thing. Well, if the prices have increased in the past couple of weeks, you're going to have to end up overspending. So just plan, buy in advance. Don't wait a few days before the holiday that you're celebrating or that you're going to be giving the gifts. You should plan a little ahead so that you can be ready and that you can think. It's really tough. I don't know if you've ever been into like a grocery store or if you've gone into the mall and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get this pink top. Last year sometime I needed a pink pastel top to wear and I was just like, I'll get this one, whatever. I ended up buying like 3 tops, right? Because I didn't know how it would fit. But you kind of feel rushed and you just buy whatever. So it's not necessarily of quality. Sometimes you change the item that you're going to buy because of the limited amount of things or the fact that you have to buy it really quick. Like I need it right now. I need it from this store because I don't have time to go to another store. All of that can really influence your decision making and again, put you over budget. So those are my tips. What we talked about today are setting a budget. This is very important. Set a specific budget for each person, right? Don't just say, oh, I'm spending $1,000 this year. No, set a budget for each person. Know exactly what each person will be getting, what you're spending on them, right? Set a number limit to the people that you are actually going to give to, and right along with that, know who you're not going to give to. Use cards, use chocolate boxes, use whatever you need to do to show someone that you care without having to spend more money, right? Set a limit to how many events that you're going to go to. Set a limit to the gift exchange events because those can rack up. If you're doing a rob your neighbor, which is my example, you're spending $25 each and you're going to a bunch of them, well, you're going to end up spending more money than maybe you had planned because you may not think about, oh, these events and the spending there. So you don't want any surprises. Or another thought is to make sure that if you are going to some events, include those into your budget, and you may want to kind of inflate above what you expect, just to give yourself a little buffer room. The next one, discuss with family, set boundaries, let them know you're on a budget, let them know how many gifts you're getting this year. If you're getting a gift per person, one gift per kid, whatever you're doing, just make sure that they know so there are no issues or surprises later. And I think to King of Kill's point, this is very important for kids. So kids are expecting you got them 10 gifts last year. You told them you were going to get them a bunch of gifts, right? Make up from last year. Well, you need to have that conversation so they're not looking at you like this and disappointed on Christmas or whatever holiday that you're celebrating, right? All right. And then the next one we talked about was being honest with yourself. Don't set a budget that's going to have you tight because, again, tax season. It is tax season. Property taxes due at the end of the year. And then in January, when that hits, we're going to be looking at income taxes. I don't know if you're like me, like you typically owe money, it's going to mess up your whole thing if you're already spending over budget and you're going into paying taxes. So it can be a little rough. So you don't want to put yourself into that sticky scenario. And then the next one, don't go cheap. Get quality items, but just make sure that you're keeping to your budget. And that's why those limits come in, those boundaries come into play. And then buy in advance. Buy in advance because you don't want to be caught at the last minute just buying whatever at whatever price, all because you need it right now because the holiday is tomorrow and you're doing your gift exchange tomorrow. I've even seen some people wait the day of. So those are my ideas. Let me look at some of the rest of the comments and then I'm going to jump off of here. King of Kill says, my love languages are acts of service and quality time spent. Oh, those are lovely. That's amazing. Yeah, acts of service. That's what I was trying to think of. Acts of service. That's one of my love languages. And then the other one is gifts. I do love gifts. A lot of my friends do send me gifts. They must know that's like, they must know. I don't think I've ever had that conversation with my friends though. I like that King of Kill. Hey, I forgot to speak to you. Oh, Miss Roller forgot to speak. Uh-oh. King of Kill says using Amazon is a great strategy for Christmas spending. A lot of times items are cheaper on there and you save time and gas. That's a good point. And if you're going to be using Amazon, you need to go ahead and buy your items now. If you already know what you're getting, folks, go ahead and buy it on Amazon or wherever you're doing it online, and get it now. So that way, again, you're not scrounging around and putting money wherever, right? And then with Amazon, there are some items that are going to take longer. So keep that in mind because, again, the supply chain, there's so much that has happened since last year where certain items may not be in stock, right? Or maybe they're on a boat somewhere and off of the coast, right? Who knows? But you want to make sure that you're able to get your items as well. Great point, King of Kill. Thank you. Yes, guys, definitely hit that like button if you have not hit the like button yet. We're all about that like button. We love the like button for sure. Let's see. Miss Roller says this is why I like birthdays better. Yes, I do agree with that. I do like birthdays better. I would say that too. Yeah. This is like one person. We're tunnel vision on you. This is your special day. But yes, I agree. You're still here working on your car. Oh, well, thanks for listening to us, and I hope you are enjoying the chat. Hopefully, you're not having any car trouble. JMJ, hey, how are you? Hopefully, you're doing well. Nice to see you here. I see you on IG, but I've been missing you on YouTube since you've been working. Yes, thank you, Miss Roller. Please do show some love on that like button. Oh, Real Brother, hey, how are you? So, Real Brother says, get gifts from Wish. They'll be dirt cheap, and if they come super late, you'll already have them for next year. You know what? I've not ever bought anything off of Wish.com. And I hear people, I mean, I see people buying on there. I just never buy. My go-to is normally, what have I bought in the past week? Amazon, Ulta. Gosh, Ulta. My too much money there. So Amazon, Ulta, Target, Target, and then just my grocery store, just like down the street from me. Sometimes Whole Foods. I'm trying to think of what I spend money on. Sephora on occasion, but not really. I feel like Sephora is overhyped. I go there just to get my NARS foundation, but now they just canceled the one I have. Anyway, side note conversation, right? Side note conversations. If you're just joining, we kind of hit on all the points that we were talking about as far as making sure that you're not overspending. And now we're just doing a little chit chat before I go. But Real Brother, that's a good point. He just shared that you should try Wish.com if you're still needing some gifts. And again, I recommend to get some stuff early. Wish.com. I really need to check them out. Not that I need another place to shop from, but yeah, there you go. Hey, Wellness for Frugal Mama, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Please do be sure to hit that like button. A Better Tomorrow is saying sending electronic email Christmas cards with animations are always good fun at Christmas too. Bring smiles to faces. Oh my gosh, A Better Tomorrow is in here. You and King of Kill, you guys are in here with the ideas. That's a really good idea. Like just listing out, hey, these are folks that aren't going to get a gift, but they're going to get a cute email Christmas card, right? Now that wouldn't work on my mom because she's not down with technology like that, but that would work for a lot of people. So those coworkers, those extended family, those, extended friends or acquaintances, they can get an e-gift card or e-Christmas card, whatever. Let's say gift card. A Christmas card, they can get that. You can also utilize gift cards as well, but again, you got to watch your spending. If you are doing gift cards, make sure you're listing out the amount. Don't just say in your budget, Cindy is going to get a gift card or Tom is going to get a gift card. Put the actual amount too. Be very specific. Let's see. Yeah, that's Miss Roller. That was a great idea. I love that idea. Let's see. And a better day tomorrow, or better tomorrow. Christmas really is for retailers that use kids as manipulation. I knew you were going to get deep on us, Miss Roller. I knew you were going to get deep. Oh man, I mean, it's so true. So she said, let me reread your comment. Christmas is really for retailers that use kids as manipulation to spend, which extended to adults, food, etc. Oh, it's a whole, I mean, if you really wanted to look at it from the financial standpoint of every holiday, come on. Do we really need to decorate for every single holiday? Do we really need to do gift exchange for every single holiday? Do we really need to eat these specific foods for this holiday? I mean, for Thanksgiving, as you guys know, I don't eat meat. I do eat seafood, but I don't eat like the typical meat items: your turkey, your chicken, your steak, your whatever, your porks. I had on Thanksgiving salmon. Salmon, veggies, mashed potatoes, that sort of thing. And then I went to the family's house and had more mashed potatoes. I've definitely gained some weight. I feel like just in 1 week of being back home, keep the food away from me. But you know, it's fine. But yeah, if you think about all the different foods that you have to eat this during this time, no, you don't really have to. But you know, if you would like to only eat it for this holiday, great. It's kind of like a whole marketing scenario, I guess. Let's see. Oh, Wellness with Frugal Mama is still in here. Shout out to you. And shout out to my members in the chat. I really do appreciate you all. JMJ said, shout out to the meatless diet folks like myself. Yes. I mean, and if you are a meat eater, more meat for you, right? Because those prices are going up. Less competition for the meat. There you go. All right, guys. Well, that really rounds out my conversation tonight. That's all I wanted to do is highlight and just really provide some reminders. Like, I think we know this stuff. No one really wants to overspend for the holiday, right? But just some friendly reminders about some things that you can do to help keep yourself from overspending. And a lot of it has to do with building a specific budget, sticking to that budget, and knowing who you're going to give to and who you're not going to give to. So that will be all. Oh my gosh, you guys are keeping me on here because of these comments. Oh my gosh, Miss Roller. Have you potatoed out? Have I potatoed out? You know what? I like seafood. I like veggies. And I really, really, really love potatoes. I don't know what it is. I need to do a DNA test or something. I think there must be like a 1% Irish in me or something because the potato was like I don't know what it is. Like whatever you do with a potato is delicious outside of the casseroles. The only thing I don't like with potatoes, I don't like potato casseroles. And there are some family members that make casseroles with the potatoes and I just don't like it. But yes, Miss Roller, I'm not potato out. That's my thing. Like I will get a salad and get a side of French fries just because I want those potatoes. Like if I'm out, I want some potatoes. Like make me potatoes. I don't eat them every day because of course I don't want to get bigger. Um, but yeah, I do like that's my guilty pleasure. It's just some French fries, some mashed potatoes, some something with a potato in it. All right, anyway. Let me just look at some of this. Potato me out, please. I can't with the comments. I mean, look, just like potatoes are they're delicious. They're just so good. Can't help it. Very good conversation. Some great tips and ideas to not overspend. Thank you so much, Ms. Roller. And thank you, Edward. Yes, again, if you have not hit that like button, you have not shown some love to that like button, please do hit the like button before you leave. And I hope you appreciate the video. I hope you got some good tips out of it, or at the least gotten some nice motivation to not overspend and some fresh ideas from myself and my lovely people in the chat. Thank you. And again, shout out to all of my members that joined. I really, really do appreciate you. And with that, I think that will wrap up the conversation, and I will see you all in another video. Bye, lovely people.